All right. Well, good morning, everyone. That was great. I hope you guys, well, I see a couple of gratitudes in there. Good morning, Tim and Marshall. Going to get my client an offer accepted today. Awesome. Well, congratulations. I hope that works out perfectly. I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. It's Friday. And so let's go ahead and get started. The week has been really informative and such a great inspiring week to focus a little bit more on our skill sets and the things that are important in our business. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how we're going to connect with people and actually build more rapport with our clients. And I wanted to just mention a few things that before we get into rapport, I actually wanted to talk about how you're able to focus on your clients and build that rapport. Biggest thing is when you know what to say, how to say it, and when to say it, right? Then you're able to focus a little bit more and be more present in the call for your clients. So before we get into rapport, I just want to kind of go over a little bit of the skill sets of what, if you know your skills and you know exactly how you're facilitating a contract for someone, or you're facilitating a deal, or you're able to be that professional for your client, then I feel you're able to be a little bit more present for your client in the call, right? Or if you're even in person, if you're meeting with them. So before we go over some points on that, biggest thing is number one thing is know your scripts. Know your scripts and follow them, because that gives you, there's trigger questions in your scripts that allow you to ask great questions. That is what leadership is, right? We're asking great questions and we're actively listening to our clients. What I want to go through is know your scripts and follow them. Number two is market knowledge. Know where you are, know your surroundings, know your community. Last night I was just looking at some of the statistics that we have active and backups right now that we have on the market just in Salt Lake County. I didn't look at all of Utah. We have about 1,250, just about. Isn't that amazing? And sold and under contracts, we have about 3,500. See, why do we need to know those? Just because when you get that objection on the phone or with a client saying, no one's selling because of what's happening with the COVID and what's happening in the market, no one's selling. Isn't it important to know your statistics? I think it's beneficial, right? Then you're able to guide them in the right direction, that it is a great time to buy. Interest rates are amazing. Inventory is low. If you were to sell your home right now, you'll be able to get top dollar for your home. And I know how to do that, right? You want to be that professional for your clients. Next is have a value card in front of you at all times, or have them so you remember them, so you know what you're offering and how much value that you can bring to your client. Biggest thing is on your value card, what's happening right now in the market is interest rates, right? I hope you guys are talking to everybody you know. Honestly, it's relatives, friends. A lot of people that I talk to, they actually have no idea what the interest rates are. And so when you tell them, yeah, I heard they're good, but why is that so important? So have that written down. The benefits of inventory being low and high demand, then the opportunity for investments and building wealth and residual income, right? That's a skill set. So if you're able to know, it's almost like doing homework, right? Before you go and take a test. And I think that's just really important. And also know what you're offering them. Like, we have a global network. We're able to put them in front of not just nationally, but internationally, right? Maybe that's impactful to a lot of people. Biggest thing is I've realized more and more that I've talked to agents and just in general, knowing your game plan. Like, we talk about our presentations, we talk about how are we connecting with people. And the biggest thing is next is needs, wants, expectations. Either they're a seller or they're a buyer, right? What is the most important thing for them? And especially if you're going to negotiate and facilitate a contract for someone. And everything that goes into that, it's not just writing up an offer and offering a price, but do your clients know that? And what I mean by that is you have the purchase contract at your disposal to give you that power to actually let them know what you are facilitating, how you're negotiating, and how you're walking them through this entire transaction until they are happy at the closing table. Now, I would add this into your presentation. I have a summary of 12 points of how to talk to a buyer with the purchase contract and a seller with the purchase contract. So if you guys would like that, you can jot your email down in the chat box And I'll be happy to send that over to you because it's a powerful tool and not many people use it. So I'm able to get so many more buyer brokers and listing agreements signed if I actually just show them saying, hey, I'd like to go over the purchase contract with you because in this market and how fast the market is moving with multiple offers on every situation, let's go ahead and go over the home buying process and the home selling process. I'd like to go over the purchase contract and show you exactly what's going to go into it. So if we need to jump on the opportunity, then you are ready to go and you're not questioning what you're signing. I want you to be well informed. I definitely want you to know, I don't want you to have any doubt of what you're signing, and then I can start negotiating for you, right? Isn't that so important? And if I have that, if I start doing that, I'll be here for another hour, so we're not going to do that right now. But if you email me, I'll send that over to you. It's a powerful tool. That's your game plan. If you don't have a game plan, that is so important to know what you're actually doing for them and how many parties you actually are involved in the purchase contract. I mean, come on. If we're talking to a client and we let them know the importance of the earnest money, how to make the purchase price look great. If there's a subject to sell, what does that look like? Going through these contracts, and then section 8 is their protection section, and also liquidated damages for the seller. So those are just some language to speak with your client, and it can't take you more than 5 minutes. But if you actually show them that, hey, this is what I facilitate. So if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and sign the representation agreement so I can start negotiating for you. And let's get you in the dream home that you're wanting, right? Or let's get your home sold for top dollar. Either way, this is a powerful tool, and please use this. If you know your skill sets and you know how you're navigating this entire transaction, then what happens is you know exactly how to answer the questions, how to handle the objections, how to guide them in the right direction, and be the leader that they need most. And if you're able to do all of that, then what you're able to do is on the call or in the presentation, then you focus just on the rapport and the connection, because your presentation can be top notch, but if you don't build rapport with them and you don't build that connection, they might still work with a different person, right? Like if I come on here, if I come and I'm talking to you guys and I don't build rapport with you, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm done with her, right? Like we're done talking. So I think it's just really important to build that connection and that rapport. So now I'd like to go through just a few pointers on how to build rapport and connection and be present for your client. Because we talk about this all the time, right? Like, oh, have the energy, have the enthusiasm, but how are you actually connecting? The biggest thing I've started to use, a funny story, is start incorporating these things in your daily life, in your personal life, and see how it shifts people's energy around you on a personal level. Like we talk about the term TAP, thank, acknowledge, and promise, right? If you guys have noticed, if you do that with people that are your friends or your family or anyone else, it's really funny. I did that a while ago. I did that for my sister and I started using this. And she actually thought I was being sarcastic. Let me kind of tell you a quick story because it's a funny one. Okay, so we were all having dinner. We're getting ready for a party. I ordered Thai food and it was a big order. My nephew was supposed to pick that up actually, and he decided to come straight home. And I'm like, "Where's the? I thought you were gonna go pick up the food." He's like, "Oh, my mom called me, so I'm just I'm having her pick it up." They ended up waiting, but he forgot to tell her that it's not gonna be ready for like 40 minutes. So they sat in their car. They sat in their car waiting, and she went in a few times and no, not ready yet. No, not ready yet. So I called her and she was a little frustrated. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know it was going to be ready. I didn't know it was going to be, take so long to be ready. We're waiting in the car." And, and I said, and I looked at my nephew and I said, "See what happens when you don't give the right information?" So what I did, I said, "Well, thank you so much for going and picking that up. I know that you guys are tired. You had a long day. I acknowledge that, too. And, just come home. We'll have a great time." That wasn't a promise, but it was ending that tap. And she says, "Why are you being sarcastic?" She's like, "It sounds like you're being sarcastic." I'm like, "No, I'm really thanking you for being there and acknowledging that. I wish you would have told you the time frame, but isn't that funny that if you are able to share that and acknowledge and appreciate someone and their time, it either throws them off because it's not normally done. And if you guys start to incorporate that in your relationships and in your family and in the people that you connect with on a daily basis, it really will shift. It'll shift the energy, it'll shift how they respond to you, which is amazing. Okay, so getting right into that, that was funny. Actually, my sister's she's listening to me, so I don't know if she remembers that or not. But number one, building rapport and connecting with people. Your skill sets gives you that confidence, so you can be present for them, and you can listen to actually what their underlining actual goal is for them. Number one is have positive energy and enthusiasm, because we don't actually know what someone is going through. We talk about this all the time, right? Treat people like they're going through the most difficult time in their life, and it's true. It happens. Even this week, we had a friend just going through a really tough time in her life. And so we don't know how someone else just came from, what's happening in their life, what situations they're. But if you have that positive energy and enthusiasm, now when I say enthusiasm, I don't mean like for me, sometimes I'm always happy-go-lucky, and I'm sometimes it sounds like I have too much coffee, so I'm slowing down right now because I could talk too fast. But however, if you have positive energy and enthusiasm on the phone, especially because they hear you before they're going to see you. So if you have that enthusiasm and that energy on the phone, they're going to connect with you. They're going to be open to talking with you a little bit more, especially in your greeting, especially in the value that you're trying to bring for them. Number two, always smile, okay? Not in a creepy, weird way all the time, but always smile. If you smile, you're able to, that comes out in your voice, it comes out in your tone, it comes out in your energy. And if you're not smiling and you sound like, gosh, who is this person and why are they calling me? You don't want that. You want that smile because it shifts your energy levels and your tone, right? Try that. Try that in your everyday life as you're walking down the hall. Smile at somebody. It's contagious. People will smile back, even though they don't really, you're not gonna, I mean, hey, how's it going? That's fine. But if you're smiling, they're gonna wanna talk to you. And if you ask them a question, they'll be more responsive. So try that in your everyday life. And then number three, focus. Okay, focus on being present. Active listening is a skill. It's hard to pause, and it's hard not to give your complete value in the first 30 seconds of the call, because sometimes when you don't have those skill sets, you want to just quickly go as fast as you possibly can and get done with all those questions, thinking that they might sign because you did that. So you got to be careful with that. Active listening is repeating, affirming. We're going to go through all that, but just paying attention to what they're saying, because there's a lot of underlying issues that they may be going through, and wanting to move, it's a whole different scenario. It's the most important transaction, right? So active listening, and step into their world. Just step into their world and be present with them. Be on their team already. I think that's really important. And number four, we always talk about this. Leadership is all about asking great questions. When you're asking great questions, it avoids any assumptions that you may have about their situation and about where they are in their life and how they're going to move forward with buying or selling or what's important to them. So honestly, if you're going to be a leader for them, asking great questions allows you to break any barriers even before there's objections, right? If they're going to give you an objection about pricing or about not moving or about the community, oh, I can't buy, my credits, all these things, whether they're a buyer or seller, if you're actively listening and asking great questions, you're going to be able to break through, and you're going to be on their side. They're going to think you're a friend, and that intent needs to come across. So if you're in it for helping people, everything else will follow. We always talk about that, right? Work with integrity and the money will follow. Take care of the people, right? First. And number five, repeating and affirming. It shows that you are there, you are present. Because if you're repeating and affirming, oh, I understand your situation. Now, if you're actively listening, oh, so share with me, why are you selling? We're moving to California. Now, is that always a good thing? Instantly, we'll want to say, that's fantastic. But is it fantastic? Is that really necessary? Because we don't know why they're moving. It could be someone passed away. It could be a job transfer that they're really unhappy with. It could be that they just don't want to move. There could be so many different reasons why they're moving. So it's our job to ask more questions to find out how we can respond. And if we do that by asking questions and repeating and affirming, oh, you are moving to California. Oh, okay, well, share with me what's taking you to California. See, if you ask another question, they'll continue to talk. If you're doing most of the talking, I can guarantee you're not building that much rapport. So you want to be careful with that. And number six is the tonality and the volume. Like sometimes when I'm talking fast and sometimes when I'm excited, I'm instantly on the phone and my volume could be shifted really high. So mirror matching them and having that volume and that tonality with someone is really important. Like if I talk fast, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to try to determine what type of personality they are or they're not actually. It depends on, like sometimes when I talk to Rick and I'll call him and he'll say, hey, what's up, buddy? So I know how to respond to him, right? Or if someone else is calling and like sometimes like this month has been difficult for my mom. So sometimes when I call her, she'll say, hello. I'm like, oh, hi, mom. Are you okay? How's it going? So I'm able to shift my volume depending on who's on the other side of the phone. In just their hello or what can it, or what do you want? Or yes, I'm selling my home, just depending on the volume, right? And how their tone is, matching their tone brings you down to their level. Then you're able to shift them later on and bring them up to your level. So start with that. Make sure your tone is something that they can concentrate on and build rapport with. And honestly, number 7 is empathy. Have empathy for them in every situation that they're talking about. Even a driver even a driver or an analytical person that is worried just about numbers and their bottom line. Now think about that. If they just absolutely cannot sell and pay commission, it's probably because they're upside down. Maybe they took a couple of different equity lines out on their home and they're just at their max. And so they maybe cannot even afford to pay commission. Maybe they can only afford to pay the buyer side. How do we find that out? Is you ask great questions. And having the empathy, oh, well, okay, well, let's sit down and talk about those. Let's go over the numbers and see what we can work out for you. Because what it sounds like to me is you do need to make the most amount of money. Let me show you how I can do that for you. Now, if you have your skill sets and you have your plan and you know how to do the pricing and the CMA and the skill sets, then you can focus on being present for that person. And I think that is the most important thing, is to be able to do that. Now, when we talk about building rapport or having all this information, have a value card in front of you at all times. Just because practice is going to may not make you perfect, but it'll make you successful in connecting with people. And what happens is if you're offering those benefits to them and you're there for them and their intent, no, I'm not ready. Okay, well, that's great. Thank you so much for taking the time. You know what? I hope you get with your lender and maybe at least refinance and get a great interest rate and get a lower payment. You save more money. And you know what happens when you do something like that and you say, well, this is my cell phone number. I'd be happy to help you with any questions that you have. And you leave them with that little helpful little dialogue at the end. They will, guess who they're going to call next time they have a conversation. And now, especially, they're paying more attention to it because you let them know that the interest rates can benefit them in their life now and in their future transactions. If someone is going to invest, how are you going to do that? But if you talk about their benefit and the intent to help them, no matter if they're going to work with you at the moment or not, especially like if we're talking about sellers or buyers, or even if we're doing just listed, just sold calls. This works, you guys, in person or on the phone. On the phone, honestly, it's so true. They will hear you before they see you. And that is so important, to leave that impression that I'm here for you. I have that intent to help you. And so that's why you need to work with me, because I'm a skilled professional and I know how to negotiate this for your benefit. And so if you're out there just to get a deal, it's not going to work. If you're out there just to get another transaction, it's not going to work. But if you use these and just focus on their basic things, like we talk about this all the time, right? Is that if you do ordinary things consistently, you become extraordinary for the people around you and the people that want to work with you in the future, and your family. Talk real estate, have that passion, and how you're allowed to have that passion is when you work on your skill sets. So practice, prospect, and present. Get that down. And if you guys need some like help or some tips on all of this, I mean, Russ is doing his classes. I hope you guys are really engaging in all those classes, because it's the skill sets that we teach are so amazing, and they're simple things that we can incorporate in our everyday life, in our calls, and for our clients. And so with that being said, like, honestly, if you guys have more questions or if you guys need some assistance, reach out to your managers, reach out to us. Like, maybe I should type in my email address in here. So I have your guys's, but if you have any questions and you want to email us, please do. Okay. I don't know if we can send that out, or Russ, can you type that in there for them if they need that. But honestly, just, or I can do it actually, it's fine. But listening to people, just focus on that. Try that. That's a challenge, you guys. Try it this weekend. Do that with your family, and understand, like when you repeat and affirm, like I understand that that can be a tough situation. Like acknowledge that. Try that in your everyday life and watch how you start to build rapport in your personal relationships. Then you can focus more on the professional side because it's becoming natural to you. And so I just think that that's just something that we should be focusing on. And if you need anything else, please let us know. And I hope you guys have a fantastic week. I'm going to just close with this: is work on those skill sets. Be that knowledge, that book of knowledge for your clients, so you're able to close them, you're able to help them and become future clients. That's how you're going to double your business and build that empire that you were so wanting to do. And focus on your goals. And once you have that in mind, you know that you're there present for them. And it's hard. Everyone's going through their own things in life. So when you have to refresh your mind, go for a walk and think about something positive. Take a breather, think about something positive. Think about how you're talking to your friend or someone that you love so much, and try to have that same energy when you're talking to someone. And that's all I have today. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Let's go ahead and finish the day strong. It's Friday. Do your contacts, have a fantastic weekend, and let's go ahead and finish with our